Hello, chess friends, and welcome to your out of chess channel, and welcome to really one of the craziest games that I've seen in my life. We have here Clover versus Stockfish 15 from the official CCRL chess.com website in a beautiful accelerated London system game, and this game is a little bit different. Here you witness really crazy elements. First of all, what you see is a massive pawn storm that Stockfish will create with 5 pawns storming on the king side towards his opponent king, with the king in the central position with the black pieces. So really a crazy game. And also we'll witness here beautiful sort of Zugzwang slash boa constrictor elements in which Stockfish will slowly but surely strangle his opponent to the limits, in my opinion. Really a different game. Usually we see this I don't know, beautiful tactical games by Stockfish, where Stockfish finds, of course, immortal tactical sequences, but this game is a little bit more positional. But I still liked it because of this Zugzwang elements, because of this restricting ideas of its opponents. So great positional game here by the fish. Pay good attention. Really a beautiful chess game. So let's see now the game here with the white pieces. Clover open with the move knight to d4. We have knight to f6, bishop to f4, the accelerated London system game. We have now the move d5, e3, and now c5. So this is the way to go. One of the good elements, I think, to beat the London system, simply challenging the queen side. Then afterwards with ideas queen to b6, attacking the weak pawn on b2, because of course white gave up the protection of the b2 pawn by developing the bishop in a fast way. So c3, building this solid pawn structure. This is the normal London system move. Knight to c6. We have knight from b2 d2, bishop to f5. So now Stockfish wants to do the same, of course, also locking the pawn chain on e6. And first of all, we have to get our bishop out. If you play e6, of course, before bishop to f5, then the bishop gets paralyzed by its own pawn structure. It's not such a good piece. Now from this point on, of course, the bishop still has a good activity on both sides. So we have queen to b3, targeting now also the weak b7 pawn. Stockfish protected. We have now d takes c5. We have now the move e6. So wants, of course, here to get the pawn back. Knight to f3, and now knight to d7. Interesting choice here by the fish, trying, of course, to recapture the pawn with the knight. And then when the knight is on c5, it has again a great squares to control. So nice solid positional move here by Stockfish. Although you can take, of course, the pawn immediately, but I think this is a nice maneuver, although you lose many tempi with the knight. But now the queen drops back, and now Stockfish has a new target, the weak d3 square. So Clover protects the square by moving the knight. We have knight to a4, attacking now the other weakness in the position, weak pawn b2. Clover protects it, and now Stockfish is slowly but surely announcing a wild game with this idea. f6 e5 is trying to have now a really massive attack here, a really massive pawn storm in the center of the board. So here we have knight to h4, bishop to g4. We have bishop to g3. Clover retreats, and now Stockfish simply continues the development. And after this bishop move, Stockfish continues now the pressure, has now good chances here in the center of the board. Kingside castling, and now pooh, interesting choice here by the fish. g5 with the king in the center, with this problems already on light squares. This was a huge choice, but Stockfish sensed, of course, that there are two minor pieces that Stockfish could use as a further progress, because of course after move knight to f3 and h5 the bishop is endangered. So you have to create now breathing spaces for the bishop in the game. We have h3, and now bishop takes f3, g takes f3. So mission accomplished, I think, here by the fish. At least Stockfish provoked some weaknesses. The problem is now that you cannot take the pawn immediately here on h3. This is not good, because you get first a check, you step back, and now queen to d5 is coming into the game. You have, as I said, several really important light square problems here in the position. So this wouldn't be then a good continuation here for black. So that's why Stockfish has to first protect now the pawn on d5. Clover delivers a check, which of course prevents now black from casting, and black's king is now stuck in the center of the board. We have now king to g2, improving the position of the king, and now pooh, f5. Look at this. These pawns are rolling with the king in the center. Stockfish creates this massive attack. It's really a rare position. It's not so often that we see such a thing like this. Look at this. These pawns are rolling all over the board. I'm not even sure what to do here from white's perspective. Should I maybe try to break and enter? Should I maybe go for the f5 pawn? Should I make something else? In the game, queen to d3. Clover chooses the normal idea, simply attacks now the pawn, forces now the move f4. We have bishop to f5, this solution took this intermediate attack against the queen. Queen retreats here, and now bishop to h2. But this is perfectly fine. Clover protected the position for a while, but this bishop is not good anymore on h2. So Stockfish uses now sort of boa constrictor element, is saying here, now your bishop is out, and we should maybe even treat this position that's almost like I'm playing with an extra piece, because your piece is not going to get back into the game for sure, because the f4 pawn is really well protected. So we have a massive protection of the f4. There's simply no good escape route anymore for the bishop. Even if you play even if you play here something like h4, then g takes h4, rook to g1, rook to g8, pardon me, opens the position against white's king, so you cannot get with your bishop out. So from this point on, I think Stockfish is taking over. It becomes basically a one-way ticket, I think, in black's favor. This is really crazy, because look at this. Clover is also a very respected engine, around 3,400 rating points already. Getting positionally already destroyed like this is really incredible. So we have now queen to f7 by the fish. We have now the move e4, rook to d8, rook to d1. We have now a rook to h6. Nice rook lift by Stockfish, trying to maneuver the rook on d6, having a beautiful battery on the d file, and then maybe threaten some ideas of d takes e4. So we have queen to c2, bishop to d6. Clover takes, Stockfish takes, and now the king retreats. Clover's maybe searching for opportunities here on the g file. So knight to e7, attacking the bishop. Now we have knight to g6, another beautiful move by Stockfish, getting use of this beautiful h4 square. If that happens, then of course the f3 pawn is weak. If you trade it off here, I don't think that's good. White is devastating here. White is getting destroyed positionally. Still the bishop is out of game. This bishop can still find its way into the game. The knight will be, of course, rerouted to maybe more active squares. So again, maybe here on I think here's the path: knight to e7, knight to f5, knight to h4, again targeting the h3 pawn. So you can maybe survive this position for a while, but after trades of bishops, the position didn't change. Still, your weaknesses remain. So knight to c1, we have knight to h4 as promised. We have knight to e2, king to g7, improving the position of the king. And now Stockfish slowly but surely improves also the position of its minor pieces and the queen. So now rook to h8, we have rook to e1, and now a beautiful move, king to f6. Securing the king on a beautiful square. The king is perfectly fine here, although it's weird, it's strange to see the king like this, but so far it's well protected. Now there is not even the possibility of this move h4 anymore. The knight is standing there, so simply no way that black is getting destroyed here somehow, or that white enters somehow in the position. The king is really good here. So in the game, queen to e2, bishop to b8, queen to b5. Stockfish has to be careful, but these are simple threats that Stockfish has to protect, of course. First of all, the weak pawn on b7, but Stockfish is still competing now on the d file, so nothing can happen. I really don't see how white is going to break and enter here. As I said, every other potential trades of pieces, it's not so good for white, because then, as we said, you're continuing the game with the bad bishop. You're continuing also the game with the bad knight. So you don't want to trade off anything here anymore with the white pieces. So a4, a6, retreating with the queen. Knight to e7, still searching for new opportunities, maybe for the knight on d5 or an f5. These are the common targets here. We have now the move c4, knight to c6. When that happens, when the pawn structure changed, Stockfish noticed a new weakness in the position, which is now, of course, the weak pawn d4 that's supported by the pawn on e5. Queen to b2, knight to d4. Clover is marching now with this 3 versus 2 pawn majority, but this pawn majority is not so dangerous because you don't have support, because white has a lack of pieces here on this side of the board. Black has at least 2 minor pieces, the rook and the queen, protecting potential mobile pawn structures here on the queen side. So rook to d7. Now the Stockfish is still doubling up rooks on the d file, and now a5, very important defensive move, splitting the pawn chain. That's the way how you battle pawn storms. Split the pawn chain or stop the pawn chain in the game after b takes a5. the pawn structure. It's not so dynamic anymore. It's not so dangerous now. All of these pawns are, of course, weaknesses in the position. So bishop to a7, a6, the Stockfish takes, Clover makes progress, and now a rook to e7, queen to b4. Stockfish uses now another square for the bishop, and now after bishop to c7, we have now a new targeted position now, the weak a5 pawn. Queen to c4, the Stockfish again improves the position of the rook, again doubles the rook on the d file. We have queen to b7, bishop to a5, the last chance here for Clover to make something, but it's a desperate try, although the queen sneaked in, but again no support. Rook to h8, the queen has to drop back. Stockfish plays again the beautiful bishop to c7, locks now the queen cannot be included into the game. We have now this idea, a5, supported by the bishop, of course. There's simply no entrance point here for white. There's simply no gap where black would maybe crack in the position, because the king is, of course, as we said, weird on f6, but Clover desperately tried to somehow find its roots, its path somehow into the game, but it didn't happen in the game. Rook to b1, rook to d8, again Stockfish regrouped here, doubled up the rooks on the d file, rook to c3, and now Stockfish goes for a couple of trades of pieces. This is solid. Rook to d1, rook to d1. We have here queen to b7, knight to d6, forcing of trades of queens, and now after move rook to d3, rook takes d3. As I said in the middle of this video, every further trades of pieces is not good for white, because when the game reaches the fully endgame stage, it's almost like we said, it's almost like white is continuing the game with down a piece. So as I said, now after move rook to d3, I think black is really happy to trade off every single piece off the board. And now after move a4, believe me or not, even in this position, the Clover engine resigns. So Clover got really paralyzed. Even if you move the knight, you lose. This pawn h4 is going to happen, locking the bishop really out of game. This pawn is marching. It's supported by these pieces. So it's game over for white for sure. So incredible boa constrictor, really amazing chess game here by the fish in the beginning, storming with 5 pawns on the king side, locking the bishop, staying with the king in the center. Incredible positional game here by the fish. So okay, I hope that you enjoyed this game. I really enjoyed it a lot. Interesting ideas for sure in the London system. If you want to see more beautiful and epic chess games like this, check out our Common Chess Games Play by Computer series. Here's the link of our playlist, and if you like this content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you soon with some more videos, and what to say, chess is the best, of course.